Welcome back. A new report claims that former President Trump is preparing to leave his exclusive relationship with his social media app, Truth Social, and partly return to mainstream sites like Twitter and Facebook. The move coming as Trump gears up to campaign for the Republican nomination in the 2024 presidential election. Joining me right now, a man with answers who would know, is the CEO of Truth Social. He is former California Congressman Devin Nunes. Devin, what can you tell us? Is the former president about to give up on that exclusive with Truth Social?
Yeah, Maria, this is about the 10th time that this story's been regurgitated over and over again, and it's kind of a classic lesson in kind of the swamp and how fake news narratives are started. What this stems from is that the Trump campaign has went to Facebook and Instagram to say, look, we need to be able to use your platform. Now, look, that's only obvious. Facebook and Instagram have well over probably 100 million Americans that are on the platform. Right now, you have the leading presidential contender who cannot advertise. The campaign cannot operate on those platforms. Now, look, there's a pending case in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals against these social media giants. But in the meantime, remember, President Trump didn't need a new company. I didn't need a new job. We were told, hey, you got to go out, and you guys are Republicans, you're conservatives. Why don't you guys just go out and create your own company? What does it matter? These are private companies. If Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, if they don't want Donald Trump or any other American, screw you. We can just kick you off, and you guys can go create your own company. Well, that's what President Trump did. And I'll tell you the scandal here that's not being talked about, that they refuse to talk about, is that we are a private company. We've merged with a SPAC. We're trying to merge, which is a finance company, a financing mechanism.
Right.
Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission, their job is to protect shareholders. Their job is to help in capital formation. Now, here we are, a startup, and just because it's President Trump's involved, here we are sitting here with no capital from the public markets because the SEC, run by Biden, will not do it. And these are the same guys. Remember, this Gensler guy, who's here in Washington, D.C., this is a guy who we busted. He was part of the Russia collusion hoax. He was the treasurer for the Clinton campaign. He was the one who funded the dossier.
Yeah.
Now, this guy is not actually working to get this deal done, and that's what the SEC is supposed to do. But because it's Trump, they're not going to allow it to happen.
So, okay. Two questions. Number one, is Trump going to end the exclusive with Truth Social?
No, well, no, of course not.
No, okay, that's your answer.
And remember, going back to, this is all public knowledge, which we've, over and over again, we've told the press this.
Yeah.
That Donald Trump can post on social media if he wants.
Yeah.
I mean, all it is, he has a 6-hour exclusivity. And the president is very happy with Truth Social, and we continue to grow.
All right. So I just wanted to get that on the record. But I'm glad you brought up the Russia collusion story, because I believe that was really a pivotal moment for our country. It really divided the country in such a substantial way. And now we've got this former FBI official, Charles McGonigal, arrested over money laundering and violating Russia sanctions. This is the same key figure in jumpstarting that Russia collusion investigation, as you just mentioned. And he was working to get this Russian oligarch off of the U.S. sanctions list. I mean, you cannot write this stuff. Your thoughts? Have you run into this guy during your investigation of the probe of Trump Russia collusion?
Yeah, look, if you remember, this is the guy that the Democrats constantly put out there, that this was the guy, this was the tie to Russia. Now, in our investigation, what did we find? The FBI, DOJ, tried to go and coerce this Russian national to basically make up lies about Trump. Now, this is how dopey these FBI and G-men are in the DOJ, and it shows the level of corruption in the National Security Division at the DOJ. Here they think they're going to go to a billionaire with ties to Putin, get him to make up a story about Trump, as if this guy, number one, needed the money, but number two, more importantly, this guy wouldn't survive if he was to make up a bunch of stuff about Trump and, with his ties to Putin. Can you imagine? Putin would off this guy in a second.
Yeah.
Now, look, there's more ties here. Christopher Steele, Fusion GPS. Christopher Steele also was working for Deripaska. All the top people at the DOJ at the time were working to get meetings and set up meetings because Deripaska wanted to have a visa to be in this country.
Wow.
And he had been long known. I mean, he's been long known to the FBI and the DOJ for over a decade. And in fact, I mean, he has a mansion in Washington, D.C., just a couple blocks from where Obama's mansion is. So I don't think you should run around like this Deripaska guy is somebody that's unknown. I think the only question now is who else in our government colluded with the Russians?
Yeah.
We know the top people at the FBI did, DOJ did, Hillary Clinton campaign, the DNC, Adam Schiff, and the Democrats in Congress. They all colluded with the Russians. The only people who didn't collude with the Russians was Donald Trump and the Republicans.
Yeah, well, the problem is you've got a DOJ that seems to be, taking sides here. I mean, you talked to me on Sunday about this double standard. We know that Project Veritas, for example, and James O'Keefe was raided. We know that other people were raided closely tied to President Trump. And yet when they went to find the documents in Biden's home, these classified documents in so many unsecured locations, they basically said, okay, well, Biden lawyers can do it.
Yeah. I mean, look, this documents deal is beyond belief, because the bottom line is as we discussed on Sunday, documents just don't get up and move on their own. You cannot, you have to, they're in a SCIF, a sensitive compartmented intelligence facility. You have to look at them there. You can't walk out with them. These are guarded facilities, the most secure facilities in the United States of America. So the question I think that Biden has to answer is, how did these documents get out over so long of a period and end up in so many locations, none of which, by the way, are a SCIF? And yet, I mean, we know how the documents that went to Mar-a-Lago, how they got there. They were moved by movers and put there, and President Trump cooperated to get them to give them back and told them they can have whatever they want back.
Yeah.
And so the tale here is that, guns a-blazing, 6 a.m. all day at Mar-a-Lago. They go get a search warrant, not for the specific documents, Maria, that the intelligence agencies had to know what documents Trump would have and wouldn't have. They actually go to Trump. And they can get a warrant to go through his kid's bedroom, his wife's laundry, his wife's closet. I mean, this is just ridiculous, the two-tiered system of justice that we have in this country. Yeah,
by the way, Senator Paul from Kentucky made a comment about the FBI and all of this. And he says that we need a complete revamp. FBI will only be reformed if we remove and replace the top 10% of the agency. How do you take the politicization out? Real quick.
Look, I think that's accurate. I've said that there's total corruption at the National Security Division because they can wall that off and they can use the powers of the government, the intelligence agencies, to run around and run investigations that most of the country doesn't know about.
Yep. All right. Devin, it's good to get your take on all of this. We so appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.